Wow! News report. The ethics of scared amidst COVID-19 and the Filipinos' mental health.
Good day everyone! As we all know, novel coronavirus or what we call COVID-19 took the world by surprise, and as of early April 2020, the virus has already claimed more than 80,000 lives and infected more than 1 million people around the globe, according to the World Health Organization.
To combat the pandemic, most governments strongly enforced social distancing, area-wide lockdowns, curfew, and contact tracing of persons under investigations. To motivate people, some heads of the country use friendlier strategies like the use of infographics, infomercial, and hashtags. Some are taking active actions like traveling banning and academic freeze so the children will be safe. But what did the Philippines do to fight COVID?
Philippines use fear or the scared tactic as a strategy to fight this pandemic. As we all know, fear can change a person's behavior. One example of this is when some local officials use the Purge soundtrack as a signal of the start of the curfew. Or when a statement from the government has been released that you will be shot if a trouble arises. This was based on an article from PMC or the PubMed Central.
This tactic doubled up the anxiety and the fear of the society that made the risks to the mental health of Filipino people. That is why the UNICEF and the Philippine Red Cross stepped up to give the mental health services during the pandemic. But does this solve everything?
Some more opinions example how the scare tactics from the government may affect people despite the idea that they are giving discipline and motivating people to fight pandemic. Notice that these were just purely our opinion and regarding these issues.
For me, the other source of fear that the government is doing is the overexposure of the statistic information of COVID case in media. Yes, it is informative to people to know the current situation, but it will also result to the fear of the mass because once they know the number of cases, there will be a sudden actions like panic buying, which will result to the loss of earning, and the hoarding of goods can also happen that will really stress out many people.
Just to add up, extensive and unrealistic information may be considered as destructive to our mental health, especially those who are suffering from anxiety and depressions. Once they know about this information, they will become hyper-vigilant and will give more weights to the issues that are being recalled, which will cause trauma.
The use of military force that arises some critics to question the Filipino freedom gives fear to the people that discipline and authority from the military might take away the people's freedom instead of giving funds and support to the Filipino health workers.
No academic freeze. Many students are having a hard time chasing their dream and finding support from the government. Some students fear that they would be left behind and they want to graduate on time to immediately give back help to their family. Others fear that they would fail in their modules, and the pressure to learn on their own made suicide reports rise.
Fear can be used for us to be motivated and inflict values like discipline, but there is an extent wherein it can also bring negative impact to the people or the society, and some people might also take advantage of that fear. The mental health of all people must be considered.
In relation to this pandemic case, the government should conduct or do an observation or surveillance, because I think this is the most important and basic fundamental factor of public health. They must give an early warnings and necessary information to treat unconsciously the pandemic. It is important also to manage the system of reportings on media and study an early diagnosis that resolve the problem of these pandemic cases.
In this time of pandemic, things that happen cannot be changed, but there is a future that we can improve. This fear is created by our decisions and actions that must not consume us. We may see sometimes that our government lacks actions and that there are people not following basic instructions. But let us still have faith in God. COVID-19 doesn't hold our life. Life, it's in our hands.